This is Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Zoe. Welcome back to the show, Zoe.
Hi, Gigi. Thanks for having me.
Such an honor to have you back on the show. How have you been?
Awesome. Awesome. Busy as always. It's been really good. I'm actually super off. I'm just so happy for you. I have watched your journey and I just love everything that you're doing. I love how you motivate people. I love how powerful your story is. And I love seeing you grow. Like I saw you from the very beginning and where you are now. So it's really nice.
Thank you for your kind words, Zoe. I appreciate you. And I was just talking to you too about your transformation and your journey. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely an inspiration. And real quick, I want to go there. I want to talk about your transformation on your fitness journey. And so real quick, I want to show the audience a video as well of this
Yeah.
transformation. Let's take a look at it. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Now, Zoe, when you look at this video, what sticks out the most to you?
I mean, I just feel like I see the photos back then and I was so unhappy and I see a much happier person, happier and healthier person. And confident. Actually, confident was a huge thing for me too.
What was the aha moment for you to transform your life?
So my background's in finance. I am a professional in financial planning, insurance, retirement, all that stuff. And I actually had built a really great business and was having a lot of success, but this one area, which was my body, I just wasn't very disciplined in, or I had problems with it. But in all other areas of my life, I wasn't that way, and it didn't make any sense. And I always felt really bad about myself. Like, why am I so undisciplined here, but not there? And something just clicked for me. I mean, there were a lot of life moments that happened where I just decided I needed to change. I really wanted to. I didn't want this for myself anymore. But probably the biggest thing that happened for me was I realized that if I could apply like the same principles that I teach people about saving, investing money, being wealthy, and if you could just apply that exact thing to getting healthy, then you would have results, right? Because people don't become rich or wealthy overnight. People don't lose weight overnight. People don't it's literally learning what are the right things to do and then applying it and then doing disciplined, consistent actions over a long period of time. And I say long period, it's all relative, right? Because majority of my weight, like about the 150 pounds, was lost over about a year or so, 12, 15 months or something. So it does seem like a long time, but it's kind of short in the whole scheme of things.
Absolutely. Now let's circle back to the woman that you were before and the
Yeah.
trauma that you face. Obviously, you
Mhm.
had to go there and face the trauma. So, what inspired you to really go there, and how? Explain to us the journey that it really took to overcome.
Okay, so I probably started putting on weight like when my parents first got a divorce, and I was like 6 or 7 years old. And so I started getting chubby as a kid, and then I battled my weight. I was always a bigger girl. I was already plus size by the time I was like 13, 14 years old. I was always insecure. I yo-yo dieted and I tried everything you can possibly think of. And I was one of these people that was like, nothing works for me. Um, or nothing stays. Like I might be able to like lose 20, 30, 40, even 60 pounds. And then I put it back on just my entire, and it was like my life ruin. And I mean, I even did this one, I did it for health reasons, but I even did a 30-day water fast where all I did was drink water for 30 days, followed by 15 days of juice. And like, I did everything you can possibly imagine. Atkins before it was keto, or I know they're slightly different, but not very much different. Weird fad diets, lemonade diet, all types of stuff, vegan, um, whatever. Every single thing you can think of, I probably tried it. And the thing about diets, which is really funny, is that most of them, if you do them exactly, work. But if you don't do them exactly, it's a disaster, right? And and also like I did crazy stuff too, and I got results, and then they were short term, and then I put it back on, and all this stuff. So like it's always been a thing for me. I think a huge thing kind of hit me. My daughter, you can see her in this picture. This is probably my heaviest. There's not many photos of me at this time because I avoided the camera. She's 2, and anyway, I came back from that trip, and I found out that my dad had passed. My dad literally passed away the day that I came back, and he was in his 50s. He wasn't overweight, but he had never had great habits like for health. And I was just like, that was a huge turning point for me. When I really started, it was a wake up call. I was like, I don't, the the way that I'm going, like I might not be around that much longer, or if I do manage to stick around for a while, it's not very high quality life. I mean, you start to get to a point where it's like it's painful to live, it's hard to get around. And sometimes too, you get so used to it. So I didn't even know how much pain I was in every single day of my life.
Oh, we seem to have had a technical issue there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't even know, right? I, w- I wasn't even aware of it until I lost that first amount of weight, like how much pain I was in every day, you know?
Absolutely. And so tell us now, when you see the image of yourself today, what sticks out the most to you when you look at the woman that you've become today?
I mean, I'm a much happier, a much healthier, a much more confident person. I see a work in progress. I see, I see, you know, there you are. That was like couple days ago or whatever. I still feel like I'm not where I want to be, and I think that's common, for a lot of people. But I think the important thing is that you get back on track and are constantly, improving and moving towards self betterment, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever that is, and just try to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. Very powerful. And you did it. Now, what message do you have for the not just women, but men also, or however they identify? What message do you have for those individuals who are facing the same situation in regards to their fitness journey right now?
That they can do it. It all starts with a mindset. I think the first things that I had to overcome were like my own. I had to get over myself, right? My own ideas that I couldn't do it or that I had failed so many times. Because every time you set out to do something and then you don't follow through, it's like a part of you dies or something, and you're less and less confident of your own ability. And so I just decided to change my mindset on it, and I made the decision that I was going to keep going, and I made the decision also to stop beating myself up as much as just getting myself back on track, because this was not a linear thing. It wasn't like I just went and then it was just the same all the way through. Like I had wins, I had losses, I had ups and downs. That was just like that's the result of all that work over a period of time. And even so, like I anytime that I've gone backwards, I just pick myself back up, and I'm ready to do my next thing that I want to do, like I have more goals, after this point. I'm obviously much happier with myself than I was before, but it's I I just always feel like I'm a work in progress, like I have my own idea of what I want for myself, and I just keep pushing towards that.
Absolutely. Very powerful. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. You are a work in progress. Very powerful. Now, Zoe, for many individuals, they're often ashamed to post the type of video and photos that you're posting. So, explain to us, what message do you have for those individuals who feel ashamed? And if you're listening to this message today and that's you, Zoe, what message do you have for those individuals?
I mean, this is reality. This is life, and it's like I don't think anyone should feel like they can't do that because our we all have our areas, whether it's their body or something else. And I think being able to talk about it and I think being able to face it is really, really good. And I think that people connect up with that. I mean, I feel like I feel like one of the reasons you've done so well, and I see people like you, that is that you're so genuine and you're real and you're sharing and you're open, and people really connect with that. And so, you have to lead with like truth, and that's truth. That's the situation, um and sometimes it's hard to like share or feel comfortable, but I think as long as you're doing something about it, if you feel like you need to, right? As long as you're doing something about it, you feel good about yourself, you know?
Absolutely. Now, what other projects are you working on since you've been on the show previously?
Well, I mean, I am, like I said, a continuous work in progress. I'm definitely going for my next goal, which would be, another, I'm going to be sharing that on my social media for sure. Um, you've inspired me a lot. I definitely want to help more and inspire people and motivate them through my own experiences and, what I've gone through. And, just continuing to build my financial services business. And, we are expanding all over the country. It's awesome. Actually, in the last 2 weeks, I was in Oregon, Vegas, uh, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and Nashville. And we've got an office in Kansas City and Boston. We're just expanding like crazy. And it's and part of the message too is like if you handle these different areas of your life that are holding you back or are not optimum, it goes across your entire life. Like things everywhere in your life start going better in all areas. And when I when I first started this process, probably in like 2019, I tell people like I halved myself. I literally lost half my body weight and I doubled my income that same year. So business and expansion has only increased as a result of me addressing these areas in my life that were not optimum. And I think that that's really important. I think when you start addressing areas, whatever it is, for some people it's weight, for some other people it's something completely different. But if you start really handling those things, it starts to make these other impacts across your entire life and your life overall gets better, you know?
Absolutely. Now you were able to tackle both components that most individuals fear facing
Yeah.
those both components. And so let's
Yeah.
talk about fear for a moment, Zoe. What message do
Yeah.
you have for the individuals who live in fear?
Well, it's a mindset thing. And I will tell you that the more that I handled that, the more it just naturally happened. It wasn't like I had to try really hard. My confidence came up and I felt like I could communicate and reach because I used to walk around just feeling bad about myself or feeling like I couldn't talk to people as much as like I wanted to, or maybe I wouldn't do things or I would hold myself back because I didn't want to be on a stage. I didn't want people to look at me, stuff like that. So when you're feeling better about yourself and more willing to reach and communicate to other people, you do that much better. So I think it just happened naturally. It wasn't even like I focused on both at the same time. It was just I started focusing on my biggest thing that was holding me back. And then I was able to then have all these awesome impacts in other areas of my life.
Absolutely incredible. So now if you were to go on stage, would you feel the same way or have you built that confidence today?
When I say you're a work in progress, I think you're a work in progress. I think I am light years ahead. But if I'm going to be honest, I think there's just a little bit. And I don't know, like, I, the truth is, like, even the most confident people I've met are not, they're constantly working on it. I've never met anyone that I truly feel like has nothing, but it's all relative, right? Like, I don't know. I can definitely go on stage much more comfortably and connect with people, especially if I feel like I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm talking to some specific person. It's much easier. So light years, light years. Do I still get like a little bit? Maybe, you know, but that only is just a sign to me that I'm not quite where I want to be yet. But that's the whole thing. Like we're always working on stuff. And anyone that says that they're just perfect and have nothing, it's just not real. That's what I think.
That's right. There's always room for improvement, and
Always.
I'm training for the 10K. I just completed a 5K, and so
That's awesome.
it all takes time, as you mentioned, and it is a work in progress. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that with us. Now, Zoe, what message do you have for those individuals sitting at home right now, or they're in a deep depression, or they are not sure what to do next, or they just simply given up on their fitness goals and they say, I can't do it. Now, you having gone through this yourself, what message do you have for those individuals?
I think gradients are really important. I think starting with things that you can have a win on, like I'll give you an example. There's so many things that are out when someone doesn't have a routine in, but just simple things like, okay, I'm going to go to bed at this time and I am going to get this much sleep every night, right? And you just start getting your sleep in. Or when I wake up, I'm going to drink a glass of water. Like the super easy things, and you just start consistently getting these habits in, I'm just talking if like you really you're starting from nothing and you're like you really need to and have some wins on like accomplishing things that you decided that you're going to do for yourself. And then you can add in one thing that was like really helpful for me was being mindful of what I was actually consuming. So there's a couple of free applications that you can download on your phone, like the Lose It app, MyFitnessPal, something like that. And you can actually just record. So that's like step one, like weigh yourself every day. Like even if you don't change anything, like write down what it is that you're eating. Like actually watch it. And it's actually quite interesting because you start just doing really simple things like that, you know, you it's interesting what happens. You face it, you're like, okay, this is the situation, this is what's actually happening. And then you just kind of incorporate those things. I personally think that anyone who really has a problem or battles with this stuff, get a coach. Like hire a trainer, get an online coach, get someone that is good at it. Because I think that you would do the same thing if you were trying to do better in business or your career. You would get a coach and they would teach you and help you and hold you accountable if that's what you need. Everyone has a different style, okay? But that was a huge thing. I think the only time that I've had a lot of success in an area that I'm not naturally good at and I don't like it. I'm not I really wish I did. Like I don't love going and exercising. I just don't like I maybe I will one day. I do like how I feel afterwards, so that like that's a good thing at least, right? But having a coach is really important. So
Absolutely, I agree. I have a fitness coach, and like I said,
yeah,
and I'm grateful for my coach. And as I'm training for the 10K now, we just completed the 5K, and so
yeah.
anything is possible. And Zoe is a prime example of that as well. And Zoe, thank you for sharing that so vulnerably as well. I appreciate you. Now, what last words do you have for the audience?
Well, I would just say that, everything starts with a mindset. You can do anything that you put your mind to. I think that people give up too soon, and that would apply to anything. Um, Honestly, work, business, finance, you know, weight loss, all that. And, if you really want to do something about it, you can. You just have to keep going, you know. The only thing you can do wrong is completely give up, you know. So that's what I would say. Yes, I would definitely say that my background in finance and business and stuff, definitely I was able to kind of take that same thing. I always say health and wealth, they go hand in hand. It's so important. Like, what's the point of being wealthy if you're not healthy? And on the other side too, like you know, more, it definitely helps. Like you want to get your money straight too, because having my finances in order definitely made it possible for me to hire a trainer, to be able to afford good foods, stuff like that. So they're definitely related to each other, and I have a lot of reality, and anyone that, feels like they can relate to me or connect with me, feel free to reach out, I'm super happy to talk to anybody about any of these things, whether it be that they want to change their life or um, improve their financial life even. I'm always very willing to be transparent about my whole, because people ask me, what did you do? And what did you do? And I'm like, honestly, it's not some secret. I didn't take like a pill. I worked my butt off. I I ate less than I burned in the gym. I went to the gym almost every day, pretty much. I mean, I think I could have lost weight slower, but the truth is that I was in the gym every day. I was in the gym every day, every day, and I tracked what I ate, and I ate a calorie deficit. And there's tons of diets that work. You have to find the one that works for you. And I did a few at different times, and there wasn't like some magic pill. It was just doing it,
That's right.
and that's the truth. There isn't some big secret, you know.
I love it. Thank you, Zoe. Now, where can the audience find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Zoe Abbott, and that's all my social media handlers on every platform. So Facebook, the Zoe Abbott, Twitter, the Zoe Abbott. I have a website, thezoeabbott.com. I didn't intend on having but Zoe Abbott was already taken, and I was like, wow, I'm so lucky that somehow across every platform, no one took this one. So I was able to actually get the handler across everything. So that was really awesome.
I
But
love it.
yeah, yeah, anyone can always DM me, reach out to me. Thank you so much for having me here. I always love having good conversations with you. So,
Absolutely. Likewise. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Zoe on her IG. And Zoe, thank you again for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast again. And I appreciate you and honor to have you every time on the show. And also today, thank you for going there. You really went there and you didn't have to. And we really appreciate you. Thank you.
oh, thank you.
Have a great day.